Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading into the finale for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one, we'll start off by doing a what-if scenario. What if they killed off Maggie? And spoiler warning as per usual if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to the second last episode for The Walking Dead Season 8. So going into the finale this weekend, want to do at least a few more videos with you guys before we get to the actual finale premiere. And if you have any other questions for the Q&As for the next couple days, send them to me so I can include them and we can go over our kind of final thoughts before this big finale episode. And if you guys missed it this week, I did lots of videos for you. We did one on Eugene, being done with him after his recent actions in episode 15. We did one on the pictures preview, and there's some really good ones. If you guys missed that, I published that one on Tuesday, second video on Tuesday. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. I'll have it in the end videos for you guys here because it's some of the pictures are fantastic, especially Rick and Carl there. So really cool stuff as far as that goes, reviews, all that good stuff is in the channel. If you guys want to see it, it's in the channel now. Scott Gibble weighing in on the following ratings yesterday, and yeah, lots of stuff in the channel for you guys to check out after this video is done. So in this one, what if they kill off Maggie, or is it possible? Could it be feasible? Here are the questions. Carol Terry says, Trev, Q&A, since no signing deal has been made in regard to Maggie's character, do you even think they could kill her off in the finale? So she's kind of saying, is it possible? Wondering how they will handle this. Thanks for all the great videos you do for us. And then Val J. 1973 says, what is Lauren Cohen's status for next season? Did she sign a contract yet? So still to this point, just to give you guys a recent update going into the finale, she has not signed so far as we know. So far as public knowledge, she has not signed for The Walking Dead Season 9. She signed on for a pilot series, ABC. Totally different, than what we're what we're used to and what we would expect. We would expect to hear that she had signed, of course, and she'd be locked in for Walking Dead for another, many years. And so far, it looks like that is not the case. Could change. We could get an update next month or so when they get they get started with production and everything. We should get some more information whether or not she's going to be returning. But the fan theory came out a while ago, and we touched on it briefly, but we haven't dedicated a whole kind of video topic to it. And that is that, well, what if the reason why she hasn't re-signed is because she was killed in the finale of Season 8. So that's why I titled this a what if, because it's one of those type of situations where I would view it as a stretch. Like, I would not think the knee-jerk reaction to that is no, they would not kill Maggie off in the finale like that of Season 8. But at the same time, I would have said the same thing about Carl. And basically, you can go two directions with this. In one direction, you decide, okay, we're going to make a good story. We're going to have the story be, nice for viewers to follow through. You'll have some deaths, but your safe characters are safe, and they never get killed off. And in that way, it becomes predictable. So it's kind of the nice story with the predictability based on the story, because you kind of know where the story's going to go since they want to have that nice story. The other option is to kind of swerve the audience or go against what you would expect and what's predictable and kill off a character that you wouldn't expect. Some swerves would be killing Glenn off in the comics originally and then in the TV series after for people that didn't know that was in the comics. Abraham example, huge one with Carl. That's probably the biggest one of the whole series. Andrea, some of the others. So you go with that route where you kill off certain characters that may not make the story nicer, but you do it to shock the audience or to tell them that you're not going to be able to figure out what we're going to do with this. It's going to be unpredictable, and boom, we're going to go that route. And in terms of, there's whole series, like you look at Game of Thrones, that's its bread and butter. Game of Thrones has been doing that since Season 1, where you think they're going to go one way, and then nope, they kill off the character you least suspect them to kill off. And the effects of that in Game of Thrones were the show became one of the biggest series in the history of HBO, right? For Walking Dead, they have a little bit of that. Now, whereas you have a show like Game of Thrones where they're going to go probably 60, 70, probably let's say 70% of the time, they're going to go against the grain and they're going to go against having that kind of nice story that everyone expects, go with the unpredictable swerve and get you, right? So you think this character's going to survive, boom, they kill him. So that's probably about a 70-30, where 70% of the time they're towards that, going against what the audience thinks, tricking the audience, and, doing something the audience does not suspect based on, your narrative and expecting them to have kind of a nice story as things flow through. The Walking Dead is more like, I want to say most of the time, they take the nice story approach. You don't see Rick killed off in The Walking Dead yet. You don't see a lot of the other characters there as well, too. Daryl and Carol and Morgan, some of the fan favorites. But they do still sometimes include those deaths. Carl and some of the others, Andrea, prematurely when you wouldn't expect it. So they do swerve you a little bit. In terms of percentages, if Game of Thrones is 70-30, Walking Dead is probably more like maybe the opposite. Maybe 30% of the time they kill off, they swerve you, and they kill off a character you wouldn't expect. 70% of the time they kill off characters that are kind of safe to do so and allow you to still have a nice story. Or maybe I'm underselling it. Maybe you go 60-40 with 40% of the time they go against the grain. So it's kind of a different formula, I say, at least the way I would look at it. So for Walking Dead, if they were to do that as well too here, that would mean that the show has changed quite a bit to where it's moved away from that kind of more safe story approach and it's gone in the more kind of risky direction where you could lose viewers, you could lose people because you're killing off characters like Maggie or like Carl and some of these others that you would not expect to see killed off in the series. So while I don't think that they're going to do this, and even though she hasn't re-signed, I still think it's mainly a timing thing, and not all the information is public, so who knows. I do expect to still see Maggie next season. Still, of course, there's a chance there. I don't know what probability you want to put on that, but there is a chance there that it doesn't work, and they have to kill her off screen, and they have to recast her, they have to do something like that. So is it possible she could be dying in the finale? She is seen in the finale wearing the body armor. She's seen out in the line of fire with Rick and the others. Granted, that might be the safest place for her because if she had stayed back at the hilltop and Negan, swerved them, he gave them this direction, this trap situation, then maybe he goes to the hilltop. Well, they think he's going to be over here somewhere because the false information. Then she may actually be safer with Rick and the others than being by herself back at the hilltop. At least that's kind of what I'm sort of thinking. But then again, she is in the line of fire. She's with all the others. So could it be possible someone could just take a shot and they could unsuspectingly kill off Maggie in the finale of the series? That would be, again, it would reshift that kind of, style or schema that The Walking Dead has away from the nice story towards the unpredictability. So I don't think they're going to do it, but if they did do it, they'd have to revamp so much of the story. You might have Jesus take over the hilltop. You might have, who knows, who would get a lot of those parts from the comics, similar with Carl. But now you have both Carl and her to kind of fill in those parts for. So it could get really messy. It could get really tricky to kind of sort out and see, what they're going to do. Would it make the series a mess? Well, it'd make it more challenging for them to adapt those moments from the comics to the TV screen. So it's something that I never would have considered. I never would think that they would do. But, is it something to watch for this weekend? I think so. Because of the non-signing, it's just like one of those pieces of information that's out there that really we probably shouldn't know or shouldn't be public, but it is public domain. It's been released. It's out there. The people know that she hasn't re-signed yet. So is it possible they could kill her off in the finale? Yes, I don't think they will. If they did, it would shift that Walking Dead percentage, which some people might like that, to have it be less predictable. Some people might hate it because then a lot of casual viewers, for example, a lot of times would hate that because then it means to shift away from the nice story and to have basically characters being killed off more often in an unpredictable manner, which loosens that control or loosens that safe feeling when you're watching the series, then again, keeping you on the edge of your seat. So it depends kind of what they want to go for and where they want that to be at. This is Scott Gibble's last season as showrunner, though, so he's basically handing it over to Angela Kang. So if he does that, he's kind of like, he has a great season 8. He kills off 2 huge characters, A-list characters in an unpredictable fashion, and then lets her kind of take it from there and clean up the mess, which kind of was done in season 3 with Glenn Mazzar. If you think about it, that's what he did, and then he gave it to Scott Gimple to clean. Okay, this is yours now. I killed Andrew. I killed off all these characters. Okay, you deal with it. See ya. Bye. And we'll do a couple more questions for today's Q&A, and I'll save the rest for the next couple days so I can have videos for you guys those days too. Tony65FP23 says, Trev, where the heck is Heath? Can you make a video on what you think is up with him? So we've said it quite a few times. We think he'll be in the finale, and we think he'll be part of introducing the Whisperers. Alexander Sharpe said, where is Maria Bello? Seems like they are setting up the Whisperers in the last episode because she was cast for the season, and we haven't seen her the whole way through, and she's maybe medium, high-profile actress, or, you know, it's a big cast for the series, and it was announced before the season started, and we haven't seen her in the show at all. Same with Heath. We haven't seen him in the series for a while. So, yeah, they should both be in the finale, and it should be to set up the Whisperers. That's what I'm expecting to see. xZEHRBEHRx says, Trev, what kind of car do you drive? I drive a junker because I'm cheap. So I haven't bought a new car yet. I'm running to the ground. You know, I got it like 8 years ago. And it's just like, you know, I'm not a showy guy. I don't show off. I don't drive, you know, what's Ty Lopez in his garage, right? Lamborghinis and stuff. I don't even have a garage, okay? So that's, but see, in Canada, that's kind of like, it's a different thing, right? We don't really like showy, like, at least the type of guy that I am. I kind of like rugged, tough, you know, that kind of thing is something that here is admirable, you know, to kind of be like that. It's not really... There's such a thing here as overdressing. There's such a thing here as overdoing it, and that's kind of the way we kind of look at things. If we see people, you know, like driving a Viper or something, or a Lambo or something, I would probably I would never buy. You know, I'm not a big car guy, but at the same time, you know, there's negative points to that too. You drive a showy car and stuff, you put heat on yourself, people rob you, people, you know. It's just, I just drive a junker, man. It's cool. You know, that's not, you know, it's not what it's all about. So at least not for me. I'm not showy like that. It's what it is. Granted, it does kind of cause me some trouble sometimes because it doesn't always work properly. I got to get my gas meter fixed still. It's still, I got to fix a couple times. It keeps breaking again. I listen for the ding and then I know I have to get gas because the meter doesn't work. Dathstroke87 says, am I the only one that is starting to like Simon more than Negan? Still love Negan though. And no, you're not, Deathstroke. He was a huge concentration this season. I think they gave him more time because they knew they were going to kill him off. So as a result, they were like, okay, well, we're going to just, you know, give him some time here in this back half. He'll kill a bunch of people. He'll have a fight here with Negan, and that'll be the leader for a little while. Because after that, his time in the series is done. So you got to give him some good concentration before he's gone. But right now, yeah, Simon is wicked cool. And he might not be as funny as Negan, but he's intimidating. He's fierce. He's very Governor-esque, I want to say, is Simon. And I really did think he might win that fight. And I really did think what they might do is have someone save Negan or something like that. Come in, like have Dwight jump in and, you know, do something, and then Negan wins somehow. Hit him with Lucille or something, grab Lucille, and or do something like that. That's kind of what I thought would happen, because it really did seem like at that time Simon could probably take Negan, and it wasn't the case. Last one will be from October Rose, and then we'll call it here for today. It says, yes, I do think they've been slacking. There's no longer the same level of cinematic tension that earlier seasons had. 50 random people shooting at 50 other random people or at windows for half an hour over and over again for a whole season is not heart-pounding suspense. And that's true. All Out War is not for everybody. You know, it's a TV series, so it's difficult for them to do action. It's always difficult for TV series to do action due to deadlines, due to, you know, costs and everything else. So, you know, I think they've done the best they can with this season's All Out War, their interpretation of All Out War, their adaptation of All Out War. There's going to probably be a time skip after All Out War is done, so it makes sense that you have it fit the whole season, because you have to redo your environments and redo everything. It's difficult to do that mid-season. You kind of need time to rebuild. So for sake of the format that a TV series is, I think they made the right call by making it a whole season, because you want Season 9 to come back and have a lot of things look different after a time skip. So you need time to build up all those sets. You need time to, you've destroyed Alexandria, you have to rebuild it. So-and-so's got to have a beard now, or so-and-so has to have different hair, or Rick's got to look older. You got to do all these things. So it makes sense to extend All Out War to the whole season and push the time skip into Season 9. But I hear what you're saying, and maybe you'll like Season 9 better. I think a lot of people will. Me personally, I mean, War is awesome to see, and this is the most fighting and epic stuff we've seen in terms of action in the series. So for that, you guys know I love it. You know it. You know it. You knew it going in. You knew it before the season started. Anyway, that'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you tomorrow.